So we just looked at uh, rendering, or excuse me, handling specific events whenever things are clicked. But now let's look at conditional rendering of some of these values or some of these components that we actually want on the page. So what we're first going to do, just to clean up our workspace just a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and comment out some of these components, and this one right here. So we have a brand new fresh page just ready to go. We're going to make a new file, and we're going to call it login.js. All right, so inside of this login, we're going to start by creating some of the default, the sign that we want to put up, the either please sign in or welcome back. You know, we're gonna try to create some sort of login component just to see how something is being rendered conditionally based on what state it's currently on. So inside here, we're going to create just a quick function. User greeting, and we're going to call it, user greeting. And that's going to be a function. Inside here, we're going to do a simple return of an h1, and we're going to do welcome back for this first one. And we're going to make another function and call this one guest greeting. And in this one, we're going to return same thing, another h1, but in this one, we're going to do please sign in, or sign up, excuse me. All right, cool. That's going to be our first baseline. Now, immediately afterwards, we're going to have something that kind of handles which one gets thrown into the component above it. So inside here, we're going to make another function called greeting. All right. And inside here, we're going to have to play around with the two different states, whether it's true or whether it's false. So what we're going to do is, let's make a value right here, const logged in equals props dot logged in. Actually, let's go ahead and correct this first one, which we'll do, actually logged in sounds fine like that. Inside here, we're going to see if we verify the value that it's being passed with. Logged in, and we're going to do an if statement. Now this if it's true, it's going to take the first value, and if it's false, it's going to take the second one. So what we're going to do right here is we're going to return the component that we just made, user greeting. It's going to be self-containing. And if it doesn't see this, we're going to return the guest greeting component we just made. All right, so we're off to a good start. These are going to be the two greetings that you're going to see when you're switching between the two states of the button. So we're obviously going to need some buttons, and we kind of also would like that to have a specific verbiage every time you're going in and out of clicking the button. So we'll start out with function login button and we're going to need some props to go into this button because it is going to have to indicate exactly what value is being pushed through. And we're going to go ahead and correct this one as well, since we will need the props for the greeting. We're going to do props here. And now for this first button, for the login button, we want it to return the actual word login. So what we're going to do is we're going to return a button Ooh, don't know why it did that, but we don't need that. Button on click. And inside this on click, we're going to receive some of the properties coming down to it that'll indicate what state it's in and actually change some of it around. So we're going to do on click props.on click, just like that. Inside here, we're going to close out this tag and we're going to give it the login verbiage here. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Well, that's going to be for the login, but we're also going to need one for logging out. And actually, we could just take this right here. I'm going to copy that, paste it here. It's going to be essentially the same thing, except inside here, we're going to have log out instead. So when we're looking at the button, we're going to see two different states, and we're going to see the login and log out. And each one of those buttons, depending on what condition they're in, whether it's true for already logged in or false for already logged in, it's going to show us either one of these H1s right here. Just so that we can start getting a little bit of an idea, we're going to create one more component. And we're going to call this one login control. So we're going to export it. And inside there, we're going to do const actually before we do that, let's go ahead and return. Let's go ahead and test this really quick. We're going to do greeting, and right now we're going to hard code the value for true. This way we can get a kind of like just a quick view to see if it is working the way that we expected. We're going to go here to our app.js and we're going to import login control from and we're going to take that from login. Now all the way down here, what we're going to do is I'm going to invoke it by calling that We don't want anything special just yet. Let's go ahead and save. All right. Now, welcome's spelled incorrectly. Why don't we go ahead and fix that really quick. Welcome back. We'll give it a good save. Looks like it's working now. Please sign in. All right. Just to see that everything is working correctly, we'll put false. Please sign in is coming up. All right. Looks like it's working just fine right now. So we also want to manage the state of the button. So while we're here, let's go ahead and import use state. And we're going to pull that from React. All right. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. I'll save it one more time so we can get that error off the screen. All right. So inside this condition, we're going to have to set some stuff up for it. So why don't we do const. And since we are going to have to manage the switching between the two, we'll do is logged in. And we're also going to have to set it. Now I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself by using use state, since it is one of the hooks, but I kind of wanted to do this since the conditional rendering example that they have on the React page is still using the constructor function. It's kind of like an old way of handling state. It's not necessarily completely deprecated, but it's not really in common practice as much as it used to be. So what we have here is we'll do use state. We're going to set this to false. We want to make sure that everything is not logged in just yet. So now that we have that state here, why don't we go ahead and set up is logged in. So it's now holding that value, and we want this right here. We'll go ahead and clean up this really quick. Okay, still looking good. So now, what we want to render is one of two buttons. And we kind of want to control exactly which button is being displayed on which piece of state. So inside here, I know I've been using const a lot, but here's let button. So we'll set up this button. And right here, if is logged in shows up, we want it to do one of two things, right? And this is going to be an else statement because we want to make sure that it is presenting one of these two. Inside here, we'll do button equals, and remember that log out button? Well, we're going to now put that component right here. We're going to do log out button, and we'll do slash, and if it's not correct, we'll do button again equals, and then we'll do log in. All right. So far, so good. So we actually have to pull this button out, so we're going to add it right here. Just like that. All right, cool. Now the button isn't doing anything just yet because we're going to have to indicate how we're switching between the two pieces of state. So just a quick recap. Here's the user greeting. This is what we want when we're actually logged in. Here's the guest greeting. This is the one that's currently being shown up. We have the login button, but it's not doing anything just yet. And right now we're having some conditions for it. Also, with these on clicks, we're passing exactly what happens on the on click above it, which is going to be right here. So inside this on click, we kind of want it to do something, right? We want it to indicate a switching of the state. So I'm going to inline this and do on click equals, we're going to pass it a function. We're going to do it inside the line, and we'll do set is logged in, and we're going to do this one to false. We're going to copy that exact line that we just made. We're going to put it in this log in, except we're going to put this one to true. All right. So far, so good. Why don't we give it a spin? Wow. There you go. Here's please sign in with the login, or excuse me, please sign up with the login button. We click the login button, welcome back. And there is also the ability to log out. Now that's going to be the conditional rendering that we have here. There was another example I kind of wanted to pull here. Let's see. So this portion right here looks a little bulky, having this let button and then recreating the button. And also we're putting this right here. Now, let's say in the event we don't want that conditional rendering to be there. What we can do is we can set up a ternary and do is logged in. We'll do question mark. And so this is looking for a true or false value, and if it's true, it'll pass in the first value, and if it's false, it'll kick out the second one. Well, for the first one, what we wanted was this login button. We'll put that right there. We'll use a colon to separate the two options, and we're going to take this one right here, and we're going to add that right there. Now, obviously, this is kind of like a bad setup because we don't really want it to have all of these characters all the way till the end. But what we can do is that right there. All right, just to make sure there's no magic stuff happening. We're gonna save it one more time. Now let's check it out. We'll refresh the page. Okay, we're back to please sign in with the login button. And look at that. It's working just how it was. So this allows us to use less lines of code. It allows us to put it directly into the JSX that will be presented. And this is a little bit easier on the eyes. Instead of going back and forth between two portions of your code, and instead it's going to have everything right here inside the line where it needs to happen. All of the other items that are referenced, we can obviously change that to slim it out even more. But right now, I think this will be the best example for a ternary.